Let's count down the 15 unforgettable R&B soul songs from 1967 that changed the game. These weren't just songs, they were declarations, anthems, and eternal grooves that still echo today. And wait until you hear what lands at number 1. It's the track that made Demanding Respect a global chorus. The Barkays, Soul Finger.
Ladies and gentlemen, right about now, the soulful, funky sounds of the Barkays!
Chaotic, funky, unfiltered joy. Soul Finger blasted onto the scene with laughter, brass, and a beat that refused to sit still. The Barkays were young, hungry, and on fire. And this instrumental became an instant party anthem across the country. Built on pure groove and powered by Memphis soul swagger, it was more than a debut. It was a warning shot. You didn't need lyrics to feel this one. And after this, Booker T showed up with a groove that hugged your hips and wouldn't let go. 14. Booker T and the MGs, Hip Hug Her. Tight, clean, slicker than silk on a snare drum. With Hip Hug Her, Booker T and the MGs delivered another instrumental masterclass, full of organ stabs, bass struts, and airtight chemistry. This was Southern soul stripped down to its funkiest parts. No fluff, no filler, just soul food for your feet. It became a staple in soul clubs and TV syncs alike, proving that groove, when done right, speaks louder than any lyric. Next up, Gladys Knight steps in with a voice that could break hearts and heal them too. 13. Gladys Knight and the Pips, Take Me in Your Arms and Love Me.
Here I am, take me in your arms and love me.
This wasn't subtle. This was soul seduction at full volume. Gladys Knight's vocals on Take Me in Your Arms and Love Me were rich, aching, and full of grown woman fire. Over lush orchestration, she begged for real love, not promises, not pretense. And the Pips? Smooth, steady, and as sharp as a tailored suit.
Take me in your arms and love me, baby, baby.
It didn't chart as high as it deserved, but make no mistake, this was one of the most emotionally raw ballads of '67. And next, The Temptations take center stage, with harmonies that could melt glass. 12. The Temptations, You're My Everything.
That's right, Paul. They're here. The fabulous ones. The most copied group around, The Temptations.
If love had a harmony, it would sound like this. You're My Everything was vintage Temptations, a velvet vocal blend wrapped around a melody so pure, it felt handwritten for your heart. David Ruffin took the lead, floating between vulnerability and soul power, while Eddie Kendricks added that signature falsetto magic. It wasn't their biggest hit, but it was one of their most romantic. It proved that even when the Temps weren't dancing in suits, they could still make you swoon.
You're my everything. You're my everything.
Next up, a woman who sang the blues like a confession and made Mama proud. Aretha James, Tell Mama.
Tell mama, tell mama, tell mama.
Gritty, gospel-soaked, electric. Tell Mama was Etta James breaking through the clouds and tearing down the walls. Her voice was fire, demanding and raw, and the Muscle Shoals backing band gave her a groove that hit like a freight train.
What you want?
This wasn't about begging. This was about telling it like it is. Tell mama what you want. And in 1967, everyone listened. Up next, a funk pioneer in the making. And the moment he made sweat sound like power, the Satie, Wilson Pickett, Funky Broadway. This track didn't walk, it strutted. Funky Broadway was Wilson Pickett at his baddest, funkiest, most feral form. With a horn section that punched like a boxer and a groove that dared you to stay still, Pickett turned a simple street name into a soul landmark. Funky, funky Broadway. His growl, his swing, his unapologetic attitude. It was dirty, it was sweaty, it was perfect. Coming up, Smokey Robinson smooths it out. But don't let the smile fool you. Devate, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. I second that emotion. Smooth as silk and sly as a wink. I second that emotion was Smokey Robinson's masterclass in Cool, a track that balanced charm, melody, and that classic Motown bounce. With clever lyrics and Smokey's soft falsetto, he flipped a romantic cliche into a soulful punchline.
I second that emotion.
If you feel like giving me a lifetime of devotion, I second that emotion. It was witty, it was elegant, and it glided into the top 10 with zero effort. Smokey didn't just sing soul, he finessed it. But coming up, James Brown changes the game again. 8. James Brown, Cold Sweat. This wasn't a song, this was a revolution in rhythm. Cold Sweat broke all the rules, no smooth harmonies, no sugar-coated hooks. Just raw funk, blistering horns, and James Brown owning every second. It was the blueprint for modern funk. Built on the one, driven by groove and soaked in sweat, this track shifted the center of gravity for soul music. And when James hit that scream, history. But next up, a duet so powerful it climbed mountains and never came back down. 7. Marvin Gaye and Tammi Terrell, Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low.
One of the most iconic duets in soul history, Marvin and Tammi didn't just sing to each other, they lifted each other. With a call and response that felt like true love unfolding in real time, Ain't No Mountain High Enough became the definitive anthem of devotion.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high.
Nicholas Ashford and Valerie Simpson's songwriting was impeccable, but it was the chemistry between Marvin and Tammi that made this one immortal. In 1967, this wasn't just a hit, it was a mission statement. Next up, the man who made Screaming for Help sound like a soul sermon. 6. Otis Redding, Try a Little Tenderness.
Wearing that same old shaggy dress.
Nobody sang desperation like Otis. Try a Little Tenderness started soft, strings, piano, and that trembling voice asking for empathy. But then it built and exploded. By the final chorus, Otis was shouting, preaching, pleading. This wasn't just soul, it was survival.
Try a little tenderness, yeah.
He turned a gentle suggestion into a volcanic outpouring of need, proving once again that no one could feel a lyric like Redding. And tragically, this was one of his last big hits before his death later that year. Coming up next, A duo so electric they made being a soul man sound like a superpower. Number 5. Sam and Dave, Soul Man. It hits like a gospel revival and grooves like a Memphis block party. With Soul Man, Sam and Dave laid down one of the most iconic soul anthems of all time. All swagger, pride, and Stax-powered grit. Backed by Booker T and the MGs, the horns punched, the rhythm popped, and the vocals, pure fire. Inspired by the civil rights movement, it was more than a hit. It was a statement. I'm a soul man. Strong, black, proud. Next, Jackie Wilson lifts the roof off and every heart with it. For Jackie Wilson. Your love keeps lifting me higher and higher.
It's a thing called That's Why, and here is Jackie Wilson.
This wasn't just a love song. It was a celebration in motion. Jackie Wilson's voice soared like a trumpet, confident, euphoric, free, with a rhythm section that felt like sunrise and a chorus that reached for the sky. Higher and Higher became an instant classic. It wasn't just romantic, it was elevating. Wilson gave you gospel energy wrapped in soul perfection, and it still makes speakers smile to this day. Now, we've reached the final 3. And the next one? It's got a bass line that'll shake your soul loose. 3. The Four Tops, Bernadette.
Back in Newark, where I learned how to dance, we were all dancing to the music of the Four Tops.
Urgency, obsession, fire. Bernadette was Levi Stubbs at his most possessed, screaming her name like a man caught between devotion and breakdown. The Four Tops had plenty of hits, but this one, it was pure drama. Motown's Funk Brothers laid down a thunderous beat, the strings danced on edge, and Stubbs' voice cracked with need. This wasn't a love song. It was a meltdown on vinyl, and it's still one of the fiercest vocal performances in R&B history. But up next, a preacher of passion who made his funky sermon count. 2. Percy Sledge, Cover Me.
2 big hit records in a row, Mr. Percy Sledge.
Heartache draped in silk. Cover Me was Percy Sledge's follow-up to When a Man Loves a Woman, and it packed just as much soul-shattering power. With tear-soaked vocals and a melody that moved like a slow goodbye, Sledge pleaded not just for protection, but for mercy. This was R&B in its rawest form, honest, vulnerable, and impossibly human. It didn't chart as high, but emotionally, it wrecked people. And now, the moment that changed soul music forever. You're one. Aretha Franklin, Respect. One word, 7 letters, a cultural earthquake. Respect wasn't just a hit, it was the anthem. Aretha took Otis Redding's song and transformed it into a global demand for dignity, agency, and power. She spelled it out, belted it loud, and carved her name into history. Released in the middle of the civil rights and women's movements, this wasn't just soul, it was revolution. From the piano stabs to the gospel fire in her voice, Aretha didn't just sing respect, she defined it forever. 1967 wasn't just a year for soul music, it was the soul of a movement. From Otis to Aretha, from Memphis grooves to Motown hooks. These songs didn't just soundtrack the 60s, they shaped the sound of freedom. Which track still hits your heart the hardest? Drop a comment and let's talk soul. And if you thought 67 was unforgettable, Wait until we hit 1971. Where Marvin asked what's going on, Al Green opened his soul and Bill Withers whispered, "Ain't no sunshine." Subscribe. We're just getting started.